investigate the Flower Garland Sutra's Ten Transferences chapter. 欢迎大家来参加我们华严经说什么哪一品大方广佛华严经十回向品的佛学讲座就是应该是从无万佛圣城出发的这个讲座So this is the Sunday night lecture from the City of 10,000 Buddhas. We've been pursuing this chapter of the Avatamsaka for quite a while, and we're coming to the end of the 8th transference, so that's what we're going to be doing tonight. Welcome, glad you're here. So 今天晚上一位高丽芳居士准备要请法让我们先向佛行三问心礼就可以请高丽芳居士来请法 We're going to first going to bow 3 times and then 高丽芳 will do the Dharma request for us 好了so please join me if you care to do so and we will make 3 half bows to the Buddha First bow. 再问讯 3问讯好的高丽芳居士你愿意请法你可以现在开始
恭请大德僧听为此法会集一切众生请转妙法轮教导我们如何了生脱死离苦得乐速证无生Will the Sangha with great virtue, out of compassion, for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach us how to live suffering and attain bliss and end birth and death, and quickly realize numbers.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfectly enlightened one.
Homage to the blessed, noble, and perfect enlightened one.
Namo sadanto suchedoye alahadi samyal samputtoshe.
Namo sadanto suchedoye alahadi samyal samputtoshe.
无上甚深微妙法，百千万劫难遭遇。我今见闻得受持，愿解如来真实义。Supreme and wondrous Dharma, subtle and profound, rarely is encountered even in billions of eons. But now we see and hear it and accept it reverently. May we truly understand the Buddha's actual meaning. 好的，感恩。Okay, we thank Gao Lifang for the Dharma request. I would be happy to explain the Avatamsaka Sutra as I am able and invite all of you to join in to make this a collaborative effort. Let's see here. Let's invite our Buddhas and Bodhisattvas and the Dharma protectors to draw near. And I have a British-made banjo that is probably, we think it's about 100 years old. 华严经，华严海佛菩萨，南无大方华严经，华严海佛菩萨。We would like to, let's see, we say the Pomo, I've got the wrong screen here. The Pomo people practice spiritual connections to the earth and to all creation here in their ancestral land in the Ukiah Valley for tens of thousands of years, and today we acknowledge them as traditional custodians and original storytellers of these lands. We offer our respect to their elders past, present, and emerging, and to all First Nations people whose sovereignty was never ceded. 就说我们恭敬地承认婆摩人是我们寺院所在地的传统叙事者和守护人。我们向过去、现在和未来的长者们致敬，并且也向所有从来没有放弃主权的第一民族的原住民致敬。Bells sound wide, resounds throughout 100,000,000 worlds. The Buddha's law is heard and spread all throughout the triple world. The wondrous sounds that everywhere fill the Dharma realm with peace. May those who hear it gain the strength to follow in faith the Buddha's path. 众生传3000界内，佛法扬万亿国中，共训其法界和平，利益报他那厚德。Alrighty, there we go. We'll close keynote. Hey, we have a beautiful stupa right there in front of everyone. I won't ask if anyone can identify it because by now many of you have seen this stupa. This is at the Gold Coast Dharma Realm. It is a very awe-inspiring religious structure. And you can see the surrounding architecture is round, surrounding it. It's very wonderful. And you can walk along this path here and circumambulate and recite the verse. 这个宝塔呢是在澳大利亚，是在我们金安法界华严圣寺法界圣寺的这个楞严圣寺的院子里边了。这个院子是圆形的，可以从这个跑道走，然后绕塔，一边走一边念这个绕塔偈颂。这个地方庄严得很，有一种灵气在那儿。人真的要修一个就说很灵气，就是很吉祥的一个法门，就要绕它一边走一边念所以这是在澳大利亚这个正法现在从地涌出来。So this stupa is there in the Gold Coast at Shurangama Monastery, Gold Coast Dharma Realm. And because this stupa contains sharira, both of the Buddha and of Master Hsuan Hua, there is a wonderful kind of, what do you say, a rare to encounter, a wonderful Dharma method that's rare to meet, special, because you have to have a stupa and the sharira that it contains. But the Dharma method has you circle a stupa, rauta, to the right, with the idea of being this bare shoulder. If you're a bhikshu, or just if you're wearing your Buddhist robes, your precept robes, you circle the stupa while reciting the verse that is inscribed there. This particular stupa also has the Vajra Sutra inscribed on the outside. 这个宝塔呢，就有释迦牟尼佛的舍利子，还有神华上人的舍利子在里边了。再者，外边都有金刚经刻到外边，印到外边。So if you circle it, it's what this does is it allows you to express your respect for these relics of the Buddha, and they say the Buddha's true body, the Vajra Sutra. It really feels like there's something very, very special happening here. And often the sky is kind of white. It's very white, and you can't see clouds. Overcast that day. It'd been raining, in fact. But we have photos. I'll put a photo in there later with a blue sky or a cloudy sky. Extremely dramatic, and you really feel as if something special can emerge. You're connecting with an attitude of respect to these true relics of the Buddha, true, remnants of cultivation of the Buddha and Master Hua. You establish profound, deep roots with the Dharma, and things go good for you, and you get to meet the Buddha, and your life gets on track earlier next time, and from now on. So, 这个你一边走，向右边那个右键就如果你打上你的戒杀、你的袈裟、你的戒意，然后呢就向右边绕着。因为舍利子还有这个就说有信仰的建筑物，这个塔里边有修行的真迹，真正的这个像。你这个人生，你的生命跟佛的智慧结下来，这个最善良的、最深的一种善根。结果呢，怎么样呢？你就说你这个人生，做什么事情总是有顺利吉祥的结果。你做什么善事一定会成功，到底圆满。来生你可以早一点认识佛法，把你的生命走正规的道路。So there we are. Tonight, in our investigation of Master Xuanzang's pilgrimage to India, he encounters stupas. So that's why I wanted to kind of show you a contemporary modern-day stupa in Australia, and hope that you all get a chance to circle the Sharira there. Okay, had there 108 of us online today. How lucky is that? And where do we come from? Oh my goodness. We have friends from, our Dharma requester is in Henan. Let's see, we have HQ, Dharma Master Hong Chan is here. Canada, California, all kinds of places, from San Jose to Ukiah to Los Angeles. Let's see here, Shanghai, Hong Kong, Newbury Park, Gold Coast of Queensland, hey Cliff. Let's see here, Alameda, Saratoga, Taipei, Calgary, Heilongjiang, Montreal, Singapore, etc., etc. So good to see everybody here. I'm not going to list everybody, it would take too long, but just to say friends from everywhere who make it part, if you're in California, it's a Sunday night. Kind of go to church. That's from 7:30 to 9. Put some fertilizer on our Buddha roots. And if you're in Asia, it's a Monday, 10:30 in the morning. Good way to start the week. If you're in Australia, it's 12:30 p.m., just after midday. So glad you're all here. We're almost at the repetitive verses part of the 8th transference. Not quite. We still have a ways to go. But after we finish the last of the prose, the summaries here, the Bodhisattva summarizing, then we get to the verses. And the verses are a very different space in the sutra. We're continuing to investigate with the help of Bhikkhu Dharma Mitras. See, how do I get that? Put it in front of the, there it is. Good, you have to wait a sec. This is Heng Sure Fa's translation of the Avatamsaka Sutra, and we're using his interpretation alongside our current interpretation. 我们就英文翻译的话，我们也用恒寿法师他完成的华严经的从头到尾整个华严经的翻译的版本来比较起来，有2个英文的翻译比较有用的，就从稍微不同的方向来考虑到底中文怎么讲怎么说。Okay, so let's get started. What do you say? Here we are. There it is. We got 3 verses into the, I'll show you, there's this, and there's that, and then we get to the verses. So there's only a bit left. We're going to go back 3 lines because this summary, this conclusion is one piece. So we'll start here again. 我们再往后回去3句，因为这是菩萨的就是总结以上的这个长恒的道理，这是一套。Okay, so we'll finish this for sure today. I think we'll get all the way through to the verses tonight. Maybe do verse number 1 just to get set up. Okay, here we are. Please join me if you care to. I won't be able to hear you, but you're welcome to join. 如果大家愿意跟着我一起唱、一起念，都欢迎。我听不到，不过呢，我们都精神上都一起念哈。来 ，Here we go. 佛子是为菩萨摩诃萨第8真如相回向，菩萨摩诃萨住此回向，证得无量清净法门。Disciples of the Buddha, this is the Bodhisattva's Mahasattva's 8th dedication, the dedication in accordance with the attributes of true thusness. When Bodhisattvas Mahasattvas abide in this dedication, they realize countless pure Dharma doors. Okay. Sons of the Buddha, this is what constitutes the Bodhisattva Mahasattva's 8th dedication, the dedication that has the character of true suchness. When the Bodhisattva Mahasattva abides in this dedication, he realizes countless pure Dharma gateways. Okay? Not doors, but gateways. Okay, this is a summary. We'll go down to where we ended last week. Starting here we go. 能为如来大师之后，自在无畏，以善方便，教化成就无量菩萨，于一切时未曾休息，得佛无量圆满之身，一身重遍一切世界，得佛无量圆满因生，一因生悟一切众生。Starting here, with self-mastery and fearlessness, they roar the Tathagata's great lion's roar. Through skillful means, they teach countless bodhisattvas, bringing them to perfection without a moment's rest. They realize the Buddha's countless perfect bodies, filling all worlds with a single body. They realize the Buddha's infinitely perfect voice, awakening all living beings with a single sound. Okay, the character of this summary is doing extraordinary, miraculous things that science cannot accomplish. Only through faith, vows, and practice only through realizing the special attributes of a bodhisattva at this level can they do these things. You'll see what I mean in just a minute. 这个就说总结，就是一个总共的一个结束，把它一个大纲要。在这个时候，因为是第8回向的菩萨，这位菩萨他非常有成绩了，所以他所做的事是不可思议的事。你现在看不出来，等一下从这里开始，你就菩萨特别表现一些这种那个名字叫十宣门的这种华严经的境界。What comes up in just a minute, I'll point it out when you get there, are aspects of what are called the 10 doors to the 10 doors of mystery, 十宣门, 10 esoteric gateways, 10 gates to the mysterious, various translations. Here we go, show you. When the Bodhisattva does this, what about it? 能为如来大士之后，为 in this case means can do. 就说菩萨在这个时候已经圆满第8回向，他能为，这个为就说他能做如来大士之后，士之后没有爆炸，没有dynamite， 如果没有炸弹，如果没有喷射机能飞过去放大的声音，没有那个的话，最大声的事情是什么？第一呢是法雷，大风暴雨，法雷，嘣，下雨，闪电，那个声音最大。在我们众生界里边，声音最大是什么呢？狮子，大狮子。这个狮子，你去动物园，或者你有机会到非洲去了，到印度去，你站在一个那个雄狮子，一个公狮子，它展开嘴巴，它的胸屏那么大，那个声音，所以众兽之王群兽之王就是狮子你就知道一个比喻，就是如来讲法的时候，道理是那么伟大，其他的道理没办法就说相符这个道理是最真的事情能透过生死，能把我们人从生死的这个苦海把我们救回来，就这么一个声音，就是一些道理 OK， 是一种比喻。所以狮子吼无畏说，百兽闻之皆闹裂，香香奔波是却为，天龙即听生心愿So this first one is an analogy. Okay. I need to lubricate my throat with some Dongding Oolong Cha so that I can make the lion's roar. Ha ha. So I don't choke. How about that? What is the lion's roar? The great lion's roar is the first of these qualities that summarize the 8th transference. That's what's going on. At the end of the verses, we're at the end of the principles, we're right there and we're done. The very end here, our Bodhisattva, Vajra Banner Bodhisattva, wants to give us an outline of everything that he's said so far. So this is the 8th dedication, the 8th transference. And when Bodhisattvas are here, they realize all kinds of things, kinds of cultivation methods. They are fearless, they have self-mastery, and they roar the Tathagata's great lion's roar. Now, I've explained this a lot. Sometimes you can go on to YouTube and demonstrate. You can find, if you type into YouTube, say, lions roaring, there are collections of lions' roars. Because why? Without the addition of modern science, which creates things like what? Like jet planes and bombs and things. Without those, in a pre-scientific world, the loudest things in nature is probably thunder. You can go to where the certain places where the tide hits the shore, and that can be really loud too. But in general, during a good thunderstorm, whoa, it rattles your bones if you get a lightning strike close by. Other than weather, the loudest thing, the loudest creature in the realm of living beings is a male lion. When a lion lets go with a real lion's roar. Have you been to a zoo? Have you been anywhere close to a good lion when he decides he's going to let you know who's the boss? Oh my goodness, your bone marrow, just lions when they roar. It's organic too, and somehow a lion's roar is not only loud, it's also just awesome. So the Song of Enlightenment says, there it is, the lion's roar, a pure and fearless sound. A pure and fearless sound, the 100 beasts hear it and cower on the ground. The baddies and the nasties, they lose their special style. The gods and dragons in samadhi listen and they smile. Yeah, that's the lion's roar. So the Buddha, there's an analogy. It's the Tathagata is not a lion, but so let's see if we can capture it. What is it about the sound of the Dharma that can be likened to a lion roaring? And first of all, it's fearless, talks about emptiness, says that nothing exists. When you get to Prajna Paramita, it talks about how all things come apart. They are impermanent and transient. And yet at the same time, everything is just the way it seems to be in the world of duality for most of us until we realize Prajna Paramita and our own wisdom awakens. And then we can have these two truths be true at the same time. To see that, to understand that is frightening. It threatens your very existence. That's why Manjushri Bodhisattva with great wisdom carries a sword, right? So the lion's roar. Also, it's not that when you speak Dharma you're particularly loud. I guarantee that tonight you can hear I'm barely able to keep my throat going, my voice going. It's that there is nothing truer than the Buddha Dharma. There is nothing more powerful than the Buddha Dharma. Proof of that is the hundreds of thousands or millions of people who, in the midst of samsara, coming and going, coming into being and passing away, using the Dharma and cultivating it, they awaken, they wake up and put an end to birth and death. That's powerful sound. Okay? Got it? No, wait, oh boy. Clumsy explaining the lion's roar as a metaphor. Through skillful means. Okay. 以善方便. All right. The rest of these, they teach, they realize. There are 10 realizations here that comes through 方便. That's where this inconceivable, the 10 gateways to mystery, the 10 esoteric gateways, 十善门, begin at this point. So these bodhisattvas, 以善方便, use skillful means to do the next series. We'll get there. 好的，那么这是一个介绍，自在无畏能放大为大师之后，自在无畏，然后呢，以善方便做以上以下的这些成绩 ，OK， 这是一个总和。好 ，Let's see what our Dharma brother has to say. Okay. He uses excellent, skillful means to always, let's see here. He realizes countless pure Dharma gateways, becomes able to roar, the Tathagata's great lion's roar, freely and fearlessly. All right? So our translation here puts the self-mastery and fearlessness behind the expedience, behind the lion's roar. And let's see here. Actually, it's Dharma Mitra that changes the order here. It's in English, it comes out the same way. Okay, let's move on. Ready. Let's go down to there. We already read it once in Chinese. 那个中文已经念好了，我们就以英文来研究哈。What do they do? Through skillful means, they teach countless bodhisattvas, bringing them to perfection without a moment's rest. They realize the Buddha's countless perfect bodies, filling all worlds with a single body. They realize the Buddha's infinitely perfect voice, awakening all living beings with a single sound. Okay, here's this, you'll see there's a pattern here. It's the one and the many interchange without obstruction. That's one of the 10 gateways to the mysteries. Lots of translations. 10 Xuan esoteric gateways. It's a particularly Avatamsaka set of transformations that seem to be impossible, science can't explain, because physics doesn't allow one to become many and return to the one. But this is absolutely a principle, a fact contained in our human nature. Sort of like, if you could think, you remember film in a film camera? Most of us probably, if we're of a certain age, recall when you used to buy a roll of film, put it in a camera, snap the shutter 12 or 24 times, and then unroll it back, take it to the drugstore, have them develop it, and get photos back. Did they come out? They all came out. That was kind of magical. If you got the negative, they would film, the drugstore would give you the negatives that they printed the photos from. This is how photographs were made. And from that one negative, you could make an infinite number of photographs in theory. You just keep printing, keep running the paper, the photo paper through. From one negative, you could get an infinite number of photos. And all of the photos, if you stack them all together, all came back into that single negative. That's what's going on here. The idea that's, of course, that's an analogy to understand this state that the bodhisattvas can do just using their awakened mind. No technology needed. 好的，从这里开始到这10个那个菩萨的这个成功，他的工程现在，这个是宣门是一多圆用无碍，这是十宣门里边一个。怎么说呢？就说他会教化成就无量菩萨，不休息。第8回向的菩萨，他已经能教化其他的菩萨，得什么？佛无量圆满之身，一身充遍一切世界。怎么会这样子呢？一个身体充遍一切世界，就是这个一多圆用无碍。第2呢，得佛无量圆满因生，一个因生就开悟一切众生，也是一样的。好比说什么呢？你们如果是年纪大的，年纪轻啊，可能没有这个经验。什么？一个相机，照相机，以前你就去买一卷底片，买了，然后打开相机的后边，放进去，把那个 前边一条拉过来了，扣好了，卷，灌上，然后呢，你就出去，就1、2、3、12次，你可以按那个 shutter， 或者24个，然后你把它又卷回来，打开，拿到洗涤片的那个公司，在美国是 drugstore， 他们把这个底片洗好了，那个影子，那个镜头出来了，然后他们用特别的机器来表印出来，用这个相机的纸放在那个 printer 下边再印，然后放这个包裹给你，你出钱收回来。大家看得出来哇，刚刚你看它这么好看啊，这样子有相片，这么一个过程才有这个 photograph 一个相片。现在呢，就拿起来这个手机咚多少啊？或者如果你有像一个 digital 一个数码的这个相机，你就可以印，可以照，可以拍。那个 drugstore 洗底片的给你2个东西，一个是 prints 那个相片，另外呢是底片。从底片的一个镜头，这个小放在 printer 可以拍多少，你有多少个纸，你可以做了多少个相片，从一个底片就可以拍，可以照很多，这样子继续，然后所有你有多少相片，多少张，都回来一个底片 ，one frame of the negative， 就是做怎么说 photography 拍照照相的过程。我在读大学的时候，我怎么赚钱？我就坐在那个暗室里边做，我会洗底片，我会放在 printer 里边，那个就会做了这个相片，把它调时间长时间短，有那个特别的味道，那种化学的这个水放多少那过程等 printer stop bass developer 就这样子。So 那是个比喻，菩萨有这种功能呢，这种能力，这种功夫，不用任何设备，不用相机，也不用洗底片什么的，他就用他自己的智慧，他自己的灵性修到这个程度，他都一个身体冲遍多少世界不怕，都可以的，用这种的功能来教化成就无量菩萨。然后呢，他用一个声音就会开悟一切众生，多么好啊！我知道在澳大利亚有7种不同的鸟，有 kookaburra， 有 currawong， 有 lorikeet， 有 turkey， 有 magpie 啊。那么他们互相声音都不同。Turkey 那个火鸡，他们咕咕咕咕咕那个声音 ，kookaburra 有咕咕咕咕嘎嘎嘎嘎不同的声音。这个 currawong 好漂亮，它会 like that。他们互相不了解，更听不懂我的人的语言了。如果有菩萨这种能力啊，我就会教这些鸟怎么念佛。他们都会阿弥陀佛，南无阿弥陀佛。哎呀，我试了多少次，他们就听不懂。所以菩萨他能不但鸟众那个畜生，而且呢鬼道这个修罗道、天人道、天法界都能沟通，有这种的功夫，多么妙，多么好。So if you had the ability that the bodhisattvas have to realize the Buddha's infinitely perfect voice. Imagine being able to awaken all living beings with a single sound. In Australia, I am immediately face to face with that problem, which is what? 7 kinds of birds come to eat every day. They themselves do not mutually understand each other. The turkeys have a very limited vocal abilities. Turkeys are rarely do you hear, if a turkey makes a sound, it must be in distress. They're very silent birds. Even among themselves, I hear the mother talk to the babies is a very kind of endearing sound, but that's almost all. And yet, oh my goodness, kookaburras have this incredible vocalization qualities. Kookaburras make sounds meant for me. They arrive at the rail and they go, I'm here. That's it. And then at night and then in the morning, they have this incredible song. Magpies, beautiful song. Special, very special. And the lorikeets have all kinds of sounds and all, but they don't understand each other. Even less do they understand me. I'm out there with food in my hand saying, all right, everybody, amitofo, let's hear it. And they go, where's the food? So if we had the Buddha's infinitely perfect voice to make a single sound, so what do they say? 就说佛以一音而说法，众生随类各得解. The Buddha speaks Dharma with but a single sound, and each living being understands it according to their own language. How wonderful that would be. Let's take a look at more of these, the doors to the mysterious. You'll see the theme is repeated. One and the many interpenetrate without obstruction. Here we go. 得佛无量圆满之力，一毛孔中普能容纳一切国度. They realize the Buddha's limitless perfect powers encompassing all lands in a single hair pour. I'm going to go out. I should have done this earlier. Let me see here. 10 gates to mystery. Are you ready? Show you. Oh, by golly. Hope there's English. Sure, we can read the Chinese and I'll fake it. Okay. What is this? This is 幼师玄门起华严宗所立, set up by the Avatamsaka. Yeah, here it is right here. So this is a commentary. Here are the, 我这里就有十玄门. Let's see if we've got the English. Hold on here. 10 gates, 10 mysterious. You can find it here. 十玄门, not that way. We'll try the Chinese just for fun. Maybe the Chinese document has got English written on it. 十玄门. Let's see here. 十玄门. Okay. Here we go. Did it come up? Nope, don't have it. Okay, so I'll just translate as we go. All right. So 那个十玄门呢是什么呢？就说同时具足相应门，同时具足相应门，同时具足相应门。哦，有不同。Okay, so this is let's do the ones down below. This is Heng Sure. This is Master Fa Zhang. 同时具足相应门，一多相容不同门。This is it. 就是第二，一多相容不同门是那个了哈。诸法相继自在门，因陀罗维系境界门，维系相容安立门，秘密隐显具成门，诸藏纯杂具德门，使事格法 意成门，唯心回转，善成门，托是显法生解门。10个，就是这10个。位是差不多了。那个次序不同，可是那个都是差不多了。Okay, these are the 10, and of them, I don't expect anybody's going to remember these, so let me just point out that number 2 in the list, this one right here, is the one we're looking at. The one and the many mutually contain each other, even in their differences. The gateway that allows one and many to mutually contain each other. These are the other 10, and they're all miraculous, including Indra's subtle state gateway, the gateway to the subtle state of Indra, which is Indra's net, so that the analogy of the pearls that reflect the totality and gather back into a single one. 还有里边都有因陀罗网，大家知道了哈。那个现象在33天，就是一个网络，每一个节都有宝珠，那个宝珠从一个珠宝可以看到所有的宝珠，那么所有的宝珠要归纳到一个，这样子。这是这个是玄门的法门，这是华严宗所立的，这是华严经界的一个，就在我们第8回向。So the 10 gateways to the mysterious, it says, are a part of the Avatamsaka state. Avatamsaka bodhisattvas are able to realize all 10 of these states. So let's see here. What have we got? Thank you, Lingfeng. Okay. I suspect you might have touched on ChatGPT. Am I wrong in that? Here we go. So all things produce one another. Look at that. Wow, don't you love AI? All things produce one another at the same time. There you go. All things being independent. So everybody look at the chat box and you can get AI's rendering of them. This is distinctly an Avatamsaka state. I'm here. It's because we can do what we want here. No other adult is going to scold me for doing this. Here we go. I'm going to bring up my notes to chapter, that's notes to chapter 39. That was last night. I want notes to chapter 25. So I got to go find them. Hold on. Just one moment. Our notes are right here. Notes to the 10 Transferences. Here we go. Thank you for that, Lingfeng. Here we go. Want to see them? 我们大家可以看看。Close that. We just had this one. I'm going to copy out right here. Okay. Oh. We'll add this to, it's going to be all depaginated, but that's all right. There we go. Okay, so here they are. 这10个就是这里，就是智言，那个华严宗的第2位。同时具足相应门 all things produce one another at the same time. 广狭自在 that's become number 2 in this system that ChatGPT consulted. Or was it, I don't know, Lingfeng, are you using DeepSeek? I don't know. The one that we're looking at got bumped to number 3. the one and the many influence each other without losing their peculiarities. 就说一很多互相包容，可是呢，他们的各自的这个特色不改。Okay, he got that from the 佛学大辞典. Okay, so these are the miraculous things. If anybody is interested, please do check Shishrenman. This is a distinctly Avatamsaka state. You won't find this in the Pali Canon. 这个巴利文、巴利经典，就是佛教的巴利文的经书，没有这个Shishrenman，这是华严经的一个特色。好的，回来 ，come on back to our sutra. What else? Okay, next one. 得佛无量圆满之力，一毛孔中不能容纳一切国度。They realize the Buddha's limitless perfect powers encompassing all lands in a single hairpore. Okay, this is the great and the small mutually accommodating without losing each other, without harming each other. 就在这个就说一毛孔是很小，身体84000个，那么诸佛国度最大跟最小互相包容，不会损害。有这个可能性吗？我们一般的实现就说做不到，想不到，怎么会这样子？就是在我们正般若波罗蜜多就会实现这种就说物理学没办法解释的境界。Okay? When we realize prajnaparamita and emptiness starts to function, then the states that science cannot explain start to appear. Let's take a look at the next one. 得佛无量圆满神通，治诸众生于一尘中。They realize the Buddha's limitless perfect spiritual powers, settling living beings in a single dust mote. Okay, think about that. What is a dust mote? Our Dharma brother translates that Weichun as an atom. He uses excellent skillful means, to teach and ripen countless bodhisattvas without resting. He requires the Buddha's measureless and perfect body, in which a single body completely pervades all worlds. He acquires the Buddha's measureless and perfect voice, in which a single voice awakens all beings. He acquires the Buddha's measureless and perfect powers, in which a single pore is able to contain all worlds. He acquires the Buddha's measureless and perfect spiritual superknowledges, in which he places all beings into a single atom. I don't translate Weichun as an atom, because an atom is an actual finite particle that we can measure, but a dust mote, we don't know how, and to say they are the same is dangerous for a translator. So the idea is big into the tiny without any problem. Okay, science goes, prove it. So we say, you cultivate and you can prove it. Don't wait for me. 得佛无量圆满解脱，于一众生身实现一切诸佛境界，成等正觉。They realize the Buddha's limitless perfect liberation, manifesting all Buddha's states and attaining complete perfect awakening within a single living being's body. So there you go. Who becomes Buddhas? Living beings do. Who becomes Buddhas? You do, I do, at some point. Even Devadatta, who tried to kill the Buddha multiple times, became an arhat and gained liberation. So, manifesting Buddha states and attaining complete perfect awakening, that's the Buddha state, within a single living being's body. Don't need another one. One is all you need, but you have to actually cultivate it. 就说你愿意怎么样？成等正觉吗？你可以在一个众生的身体里边成就， 成功。怎么会呢？就要修行。这位菩萨得佛无量圆满解脱。所以呢，我们成佛的时候是谁成的呢？你、我、他，不必2个人了，就1个人的身体就够了。可是看你有没有修，有没有修到。得佛无量圆满三昧，一三昧中普能实现一切三昧。Okay. They realized the Buddha's countless perfect samadhis, demonstrating all samadhis in a single samadhi. Okay, this particular study, if you talk to other Buddhists, and you are a Mahayana tradition student or scholar, you can say things like, wow, Vairochana's Dharmabadi Samadhi is different from the ocean imprint Samadhi. The great Shurangama Samadhi is different again from the 4 dhyanas, right? So from the Mahayana, we have all this entire repertoire of samadhis. Later on, after the 10 stages chapter, between the 10 stages and the chapter 38, the leaving the world chapter, there are all these smaller chapters full of the names of samadhis. Each one of those sanmei, each one of those zheng ding zheng shou, right connection and right acceptance, right realization, those are actual states of meditation that have names, that have characteristics. Somebody who is skillful at it can tell one from the other. Those are all available. It's sort of like, what would it be like? Baskin-Robbins? Nah, that's too mundane. Sort of like cities on Highway 101. You can start at 101 at the Mexican border and take 101 all the way up to the Oregon border. You can travel the entirety of California on Highway 101 and go through all these different towns. Each one of the towns is unique and different, and they all access Highway 101. So you want to go to, let's say, San Diego. Okay, well, let's go to LA. Well, let's go to Santa Barbara. Let's go to Monterey. Let's go to San Francisco. All of those cities are available on Highway 101. And yet each has their different identity. And the samadhis available to bodhisattvas in the Avatamsaka are like that. They're all different destinations, unique and different, but they all connect to the mind of the bodhisattva. 就说这些三昧呢，你如果阅读华严经，你已经读过10地品，还没到离世间品，从21还没27，还没到38，中间都很多品，比较少，比较短。各个华严经的这个品类，就各个不同卷哈，都有讲那个法的菩萨，他们会介绍不同的三昧门，正定正受，然后谁愿意跟着那个方法修成的话，都可以入不同的三昧。好比什么呢？好比说有101号公路在加州，从墨西哥跟加州最南部开始，一直穿过整个加州，一直到 Oregon 州的边际。在半途中都会从 San Diego 就开到洛杉矶，从洛杉矶开到 Santa Barbara，Santa Barbara 就开到 Monterey，Monterey 又开到旧金山，一直到北加州，穿过到 Oregon 州。每个城市有它自己不同的风格，不同的相貌，可是一个公路穿过所有不同城。 一个心穿过所有的三昧菩萨能给我们讲如何修楞严大定这个四禅定，初禅、二禅、三禅、四禅，那个海印三昧，还有毗卢遮那、庄严身三昧等等，都是从这个清净的心成就。Okay, got it. That's a lot of work, and you can't speak the language. Here we go. 得佛无量圆满辩才，说一句法，充未来际而不可尽，悉处一切众生疑惑。They realize the Buddha's limitless perfect eloquence and can expound even a single phrase of Dharma to the end of future time without exhausting what can be said, thereby dispelling the doubts and delusions of living beings. I love this sutra. Look at that. So cool. Perfect eloquence, 辩才无碍. They can take a phrase of Dharma, 一句法, and in explaining it to the end of future time, they never finish, plumbing the richness of that single phrase of Dharma, and as they speak, the doubts and delusions of living beings go away. How cool. We have the perfect illustration of that in Master Zhizhe. So, 说妙法藏, he explained the word miao for a very long time and never finished, right? What was it? I keep getting it wrong. It's 99 days, 108 days. So he attained the state of eloquence where, what do they say? 口入深河, 滔滔不尽. His mouth, his voice was like a bubbling spring. The Dharma kept flowing. Master Zhizhe explained a single word, miao, and took him days and days and days, and he still could continue. But what a great state this would be. Joy, 乐说辩才就说. Yeah, to have that, somebody going to tell me what it was. I think you've done this. 90 days, 金庸是 90 days, 90天. Explained the word miao for 90 days. Thank you, Jin Yongshi. Here we go. Let's see what else. These are incredible states. Last one. 得佛无量圆满众生具佛实力尽众生界是成正觉. They realize the Buddha's limitless capacity to bring all living beings to perfection, enabling living beings to be endowed with the Buddha's 10 powers to manifest the realization of perfect awakening in all the realms of living beings. Here is another typically Avatamsaka, but not limited to the Avatamsaka state, which is the Pusa Shili. In this case, it is the Rulai Shili, the 10 powers of Buddhas, Tathagatas, and Bodhisattvas. They're slightly different. The Tathagatas' 10 powers and the Bodhisattvas' 10 powers are slightly different, but they are identical in their purpose and their scope, which is tools for teaching. This is a doctor's kit of skills that are latent inside your nature, waiting to be awakened and to be booted up so that you can employ them to know how to teach without error, without wasting effort. Because they're diagnostic, analytic tools that allow you to understand who you're talking to, where they came from, what they can experience, what they can understand, and then you expediently create a method to teach. That's what the Bodhisattva's 10 powers are. Incredible. So the 5 eyes and the 6 psychic powers are all for that purpose as well, but the 10 powers include them. And they don't have the Lo Jin Tong, but they're very similar in their abilities, and they go beyond what the 5 eyes and the 6 psychic powers can let you do. 这个菩萨能具佛实力，这个实力也是华严经里边的一个特色。菩萨 正的这个如来势力或者菩萨势力大同小异，他能用这些功能、这个功夫来，就说，看看一个众生，发愿要度他，就很清楚知道这个众生的来历，他能听得懂什么法，他的解释什么语言，用什么比喻，用什么身体来度他，他能接受什么，你就不费力啊，就不费时，很准确来知道如何度他。所以这是一种 diagnostic， 好像医生就把脉，知道身体它的强，它的弱啊。So 这是菩萨用的这种10种力量，跟五言六通大同小异就没有那个漏尽通不过还有比那个五言六通的能力那范围更大。OK。Last line， 佛子是为菩萨摩诃萨以一切善根顺真如相回向，顺真如相回向，这是第8回向的名字。Disciples of the Buddha, this is the dedication of all good roots on the part of Bodhisattvas, Mahasattvas, in accordance with the attributes of true thusness. Ready? He, she, acquires the Bodhi's try again. He acquires the Buddha's measureless and perfect liberations, in which the realms of all Buddhas and their realization of the right and perfect enlightenment are revealed within the body of a single Buddha, of a single being. Shouldn't look at the screen. He acquires the Buddha's measureless and perfect samadhis, in which he is able to reveal all samadhis in a single samadhi. He acquires the Buddha's measureless and perfect eloquence, in which, in explaining a single sentence of Dharma, he is able to continue to the end of future time and still never exhaust its meanings, thereby ridding all beings of their doubts and delusions. That one is so cool. He acquires the Buddha's measureless and perfect being replete with the Buddha's 10 powers and manifests the realization of right enlightenment in all realms of beings. Okay. Can you imagine having that skill? Sons of the Buddha. This is the Bodhisattva Mahasattva's dedication of all roots of goodness in accord with the character of true suchness. Okay. And let's do one. Okay. 20金刚幢菩萨成佛为力，普观十方而说颂言：菩萨日月常安住，正念坚固难力持活，其心善软恒清凉，积极无边成功德恒。哇 ，sorry. At that time, Vajrabhana Bodhisattva, aided by the Buddha's awesome inspiring powers. Slow down, do it right. At that time, Vajrabhana Bodhisattva, aided by the Buddha's awe-inspiring powers, and contemplating everything in the 10 directions, spoke in verse. Bodhisattvas aspire to abide in peace at all times. Their right mindfulness is steadfast, free from ignorance and delusion. With a kind, gentle, and ever-tranquil heart, they amass limitless, meritorious conduct. Do you amass conduct? No. Practices. It's the wrong word to translate. At that time, aided by the Buddha's awesome power, Vajrabhana Bodhisattva surveyed the 10 directions and then spoke these verses. The Bodhisattva's determination is always securely abiding, and his right mindfulness is steadfast and free of delusions. His mind is virtuous, pliant, constantly clear and cool, as he accumulates practices creating boundless meritorious qualities. There we go. This we should not translate hung as conducts. That's a mistake. Nope. Practices. It's not conduct. Okay, so that's the first. Let's take a look at how many there are. 有多少个寄送呢？1、2、3、4、5、6、7、8、9、10、11、12、13、14、15、16、17、18、20、21、22、23、24、25、6、7、8、9、10、30个寄送。There are 30 verses to go through. We will do probably 10 per week. It'll be the end of June before we're ready to the 9th. The 9th transference is really different. The 10th transference is even more different. These are where this one had 100 analogies, double analogies for Zhenru, the sacred, the holy, the inexpressible, the Buddha nature. It was still, and now we're into the verses, which repeats it, and it'll be familiar ground. The 9th transference is very different and really complex. So the ideas, because the Bodhisattva state is higher, more profound than before, the thoughts that the approaches to dedicating merit are more subtle. So we want to get ready. So we'll be about 3 weeks getting through the verses of the 10 transferences, of the 8th transference, and then proceed to the 9th. 就说因为有30个寄送，所以我相信需要3个礼拜。如果我们每个礼拜10个，到第9回向，不同。等我们到了，你们都记得，你们都明白了哈。Okay, moving on. Let's take a look here. What have we got? We have the life of Master Xuanzang. We finished chapter 2. I'm going to remind you, we've finished the discussion of a very good king. His name is Shiladitya in India. He is alive when Master Xuanzang arrives. So our hero has an encounter with this virtuous king. And we're going to do the last paragraph because there's stupas involved. I'm going to show you where he is, and then start on chapter 3. More stupas are involved. 玄奘大师到了印度，遇到这个善良的国王希勒底迦，戒德是戒日，戒律的太阳，戒日王。他还在玄奘大师到那个时候，跟这个国王有很重要的关系了。是城西北有速度坡，高200余尺，东南6、7里，就说近切河南，那个 Ganges River 的南部有速度坡，另外一个 stupa， 一个塔，高200余尺，并无有往所造，皆是佛喜说法处也。In the northwest of the city was a stupa 200 feet high. Think of a redwood tree. The tallest redwoods are 300 feet, so you know how tall this was. A giant religious piece of religious architecture. 6 or 7 li to the southeast, and on the southern bank of the Ganges, there was another one, also 200 feet high. If we ran into 200 feet tall stupas, the whole world would know. Both were built by King Ashoka. They were places where the Buddha had been. So not King Ashoka followed the Buddha by a couple centuries. So the King Ashoka built the stupas where the Buddha had walked. 因为佛陀曾经在那里转法轮，所以那个阿育王无有王就到那边故意造这个宝塔，很高很高，最高的红木树300尺。这个是200尺的高，你知道多大的一个建筑物啊？法师入齐国到巴达罗毗诃罗寺，就说巴达罗毗诃罗寺， 住3月，一毗梨耶悉那三藏读佛使毗婆沙，日昼毗婆沙气，完了，结束了。The master went to Bhadra Monastery, where he lived is Samantabhadra, 就圣。He lived for 3 months, studied the Buddhadasa's Vipasha Shastra, Suryavarman's Vipasha Shastra under the teacher Viryasena. So, before he got to Nalanda, he stayed for different periods of time in different parts of India, studying these shastras, amassing his knowledge. What an incredible tour was this hero. 这个玄奘大师呢，他还没到那兰陀大学，他已经就入册在那儿学习不同的论藏，好比说佛使毗婆沙，这个日昼毗婆沙，然后继续走。Okay, moving on to this one, chapter 3. Here we go. Comment. Okay, 29 verses according to the Shu Chao. 29. Okay, I counted 30. 好 good. 29个寄送。对了，谢谢。So, 其于陀国中伊兰那国，这是第3卷第3品。Ready? 自此东南行600余里，渡尽切河 Ganges， 南至阿育陀国，中印度400余所，僧徒数千人，大小乘并学。From Kanyakubja, the master proceeded southeast for 600 li, crossed the Ganges, reached Ayodhya in the south. In Ayodhya, there were 100 monasteries, several thousand monks who studied Mahayana and Theravada teachings. Right here. 大家看看，这个是 Ayodhya， 在这是在哪里呢？就是印度的这边。这是什么地方？这是这是那兰陀大学，它的就近的目的是这个地方。他已经到这儿，就以前他就在这里走，现在到这里这个地方，Ayodhya，有宝塔，有僧团，有出家众，有道场 ，OK。So there are monks. This on the banks of the Sarayu River, which is you can see very muddy here. There we are. This is Ayodhya. 就是这个地方有道场，有出家众。In the capital, 大城中有个伽蓝 ，OK， 有顾伽蓝。I hope somebody answers that. Good, he got it. Not yet. You're going to have to put up with the phone ringing. 大城中有个伽蓝，是法苏潘度菩萨，巴苏班度，于此至大小乘论极为众讲处。In the capital was an old monastery where Vasubandhu Bodhisattva composed Mahayana Theravada Shastras, preached for the people. So this is clearly, our teacher, what did he do? He crossed the deserts, he crossed the mountains, and now he's reached a place where famous bodhisattvas made the Buddha Dharma come alive. 就是他渡了那个摩诃堰，那个大沙漠，渡了高山雪山，现在到了这个他要去的地方，就是大菩萨在这边转法轮。So let's see here. 城西北4-5里，临近切河岸，大伽蓝中有苏都波，高200余尺，无有王所见。佛悉3月说法处， 其旁又有过去四佛经行处。4 or 5 li to the northwest of the city, on the bank of the Ganges, was a large monastery, in which stood a stupa more than 200 feet high, built by King Ashoka. This was the place where the Buddha had formerly preached the law, the Dharma, for 3 months. Beside it was also the place where the 4 past Buddhas had walked up and down. Okay, now this is, think about this. The Buddha was 500 BC. Master Xuanzang is 600 years after the AD, right? BCE, the CE, Common Era. 1100 years since the Buddha taught. 1100 years after the Buddha, people are still remembering that past Buddhas in past worlds when the world came into being, Buddhas taught here. Their memories goes beyond recorded history. So how do they know that? The Buddhas say. The Buddha's memories include worlds coming into being and passing away. So the Buddha says, did you know that 4 Buddhas have been to this same place in the past? So it's recorded, and Master Xuanzang comes along. The stories are told to him because it's still in human memory what the Buddha said 1100 years earlier about Buddhas from past worlds. Yeah, expands the measure of your mind to contain all that. 就说到这个地方，有另外呢，有200尺高的另外一个宝塔，就说佛就公前500年出生，转法轮，入涅槃之后，再有1100年，到了玄奘法师去印度听人家记得佛陀怎么说。佛说，在这个地方，过去4尊佛，不同世界，他们都到一样的地方，在这里，就说弘法利生怎么知道呢？佛陀记得了，我们人不记得这个世界不在的事情，佛会记得，他的智慧包罗这个法界，所以玄奘大师听人家这么讲，就写下，记在他的历史书、他的笔记，所以我们就知道了。Amazing, totally amazing. Okay, so we have now begun. 我们已经开始第3品玄奘大师传。各位知道吗？这个星期六，这个星期天有这个活动在万佛城。上人入涅槃已经30年了，本来就等星期天在那儿传功讲讲舍利等等。今年因为30年，所以星期六就是5月31在万佛城也有活动。我们可以参加这个研讨会问答故事可以走走看看万佛城所以希望如果有机会要到万佛城来，星期六就早上开始下午结束。如果想知道的话，麻烦你们来注册，好吧？去哪里？去 drba.org 就可以填表，简单，没事。也有中文，也有英文哈。So if you would like to go, if you'd like to attend, we would be happy if you would kindly sign up. It's a simple form. That way we know how many people to prepare. Okay, and how to welcome you. 如果你填表注册的话，我们会欢迎你。我们都有食物端给你吃。没有的话，不是说没有食物，不过我们的准备不会这么圆满 所以如果要来的话，能到 drba.org 用中文、用英文、用粤文来填表。不知道有英文的、粤文的表吗？应该有哈。Okay. Now we will all dedicate merit together. And I'll see you next week, same time, same place. That is to say online. Here we go. May every living being, our minds as one and radiant with light, share the fruits of peace with hearts of goodness, luminous and bright. If people hear and see how hands and hearts can find in giving unity, may our minds away to great compassion, wisdom, and to joy. May kindness find reward. May all who sorrow leave their grief and pain. May this boundless light dispel the darkness of our endless night. Because our hearts are one, this world of pain turns into paradise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. May all become compassionate and wise. And to conclude, we'll bow to the Buddha. You're welcome to join. You ready? Here we go. Bow in respect to the Venerable Master. Alrighty.